Welcome to RealityMethod.com. My name is Johan and I'm the founder and creator of RealityMethod.com, as you'll see it today. So my work is in simplification. I like to have complex things and simplify them to their core. First principles in physics, if you would consider or interested in that type of thing. And I'm not a physicist, so by the way, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a mathematician. I'm none of these things. I'm average Joe, average guy that asked a simple question. How does my world work? And I asked it a couple of years ago, never expecting really to answer, to get an answer, because how does the world work? But I did find an answer, and it's not an academic paper. It's not a scientific release. It's a simple shape. And if you can imagine, there's a little handle there for argument's sake, and you can see this as the cup of your life. And everything about reality fits into this sucker. It's pretty amazing. So inside this thing, inside this little shape, there's three parts. And we'll talk inside RealityMethod.com. I don't want to make this video too long about how that works. And I'm going to explain how your reality works on a piece of paper, because I thought this would be the simplest way for me to do it. If I would have nothing to show you, I would say that there's external things that you don't control, internal capacity that you have as a human being, or as a team, or as a company, or a small business. You combine those external things, the marketplace and so forth, with the internal capacity, and you get the result of your reality for every single subject that you can come up with. That's kind of difficult to understand for someone. So I thought I'd make a small little thingy here, and it actually worked pretty well, because I've got 6 areas in your personal life that I consider always, but you can make this thing from three little areas, 3 little shapes like this that kind of links or stacks on top of each other. And you can make them to thousands. The only thing that differs really is the angle of these 2 sides, and it'll all come fit, kind of turn back on itself. So here's the goal. I don't want to explain too long. I'm getting bored here, or I assume you're getting bored here. So your life has 3 parts in it: external things that we don't control, internal capacity, and these two combined will give you a value in the marketplace for every single subject. Right? Makes a lot more sense if I show it to you. So this first one is chaos theory, and so forth. And there's a lot of chaos at the bottom, and it's cool and calm at the top. You kind of want to go from every frustration or problem that you've got in life, you want to move from the bottom to the top, right? So how do we do that? It's with the second part, because you don't control this first one. You don't control external things, right? And there's 3 of them. We'll talk about that inside, and then there's a 4th one coming. We've got about 10 to 15 years to solve our life, which is why I'm doing this, which is why I think it's so important to share this with as many people as possible. Because about 10, 15 years you've got to solve your stuff out. And then the world's going to change dramatically. So I'll share those 3 things that fits in here for your life. I'll share that inside. The second part is the crucial one. That's you. That's your abilities. That's your activities. That's your actions. It's what you are interested in doing and what you're doing constantly. So external things that we don't control, internal capacity to solve a particular problem. And if you solve it, then your value in the marketplace will be high for that particular thing. If you don't solve it, you'll always have a very low value for that particular subject. So there's the basic, the 3 things. If you've got that in your head, external things, internal capacity, combine them, you'll get a value in the marketplace or a level of experience that you've got. If you've got that, and here we go. So here's the 6 areas that I've picked in general for private people or life, but you can pick 3, which is health, wealth, and happiness. Okay, so they can fit in here as well. Exactly the same original cup or shape, and this is how that shape works. So the first one that I always talk about is physical in your life. I mean, we've all got, my apologies, we've all got an ability to do things physically, and there's external things that we don't control. I, for argument's sake, lost my hand at 1 year and 10 months old when I fell off a building. The thing that I sat on fell on top of it. So that's external things that I didn't control, right? But genetics would fall into this part as well. I'm lucky for the rest of my body with regards to genetics. I've climbed a Great 19 mountain with 1 3/4 arms. I've done Paralympic stuff. So there's the abilities that you get here as well. And what you do with it fits in the second part. And you can either take your ability, if you're overweight for argument's sake, you've kind of slipped it a little bit, then it's the second one where you find the steps to let that go. And it's also the one that indicates your capacity for something and the interest towards that capacity. Because for most people that's overweight, their capacity is a six-pack. And that's interesting if you now start to look at the capacity of us as human beings and how we can get there. And the difference between you getting to that capacity and where you are today, for argument's sake, overweight or whatever your situation is probably the interest. And that's why this one is also called the distribution of interest, this center part. And you combine the external things of your body that you don't control with the internal capacity that you've got and the interest that you have to change it or to make it the best, and you get a value in the marketplace. Either low, right, unhealthy, or high, very healthy. And of course, there are some things that we don't control, diseases and so forth, but let's not overcomplicate it now. So that's the basic idea. Second one, emotional life, right? How happy are you, right? What makes you happy? So there's external things and influences in your life. We'll share that inside. 3 of them has a huge impact on this. How you manage that is up to you. It's hard in the beginning, a lot of work with very low value. See, a lot of work in the beginning, very little value if you're unhappy. But you can do it because you can move this thing yourself to the top. We'll talk about that inside as well. Third one's mental. What are your interests? What are you interested in? Are you in a job that sucks? Do you hate it? I've been there. I worked in a corporate in this dirty blue, ugly blue cubicle. I couldn't handle it. I lasted 2 years. Did some amazing things. Very few people knew what I was doing, but I did some amazing things in there and just didn't get anywhere. Corporate stuff for you, right? Internal capacity for you to understand the things that you're interested in and change if you want to, and it'll give you a value in the marketplace. Social, that's another one. The friends that you've got, the people that you're associated with, you don't control how you get them, right, as a kid, but you do control how you get them as a grown-up. The people that you surround yourself with, what's the quality of those people? Because they say something like the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with, you are like that. Okay, is that value low? Is it high for you? Think carefully. Financial, the big one, the elephant in the room for most people. External things that we don't control. We don't control the economy. We don't control whether a new technology comes in, right, rips our industry apart. Drivers have that at the moment, right? Lawyers will have that soon. So what's the value of yourself in the marketplace, and how do you change that with the interest one? And then, of course, you get, right, lifestyle. Lifestyle is an interesting one because how you're grown up depends on what kind of life your parents gave you. But after 18, you start to influence your own thing and you start to create a value for yourself in the marketplace. And if you look at these things essentially, and what you'll find is that they all started with a little cup and you change them. And inside every single subject that we talk about, there's external things we don't control. And you have to understand how that works and how that influences you and how you solve some of those frustrations, how you do that. And you do that with increasing your value in the marketplace. So I hope that, I'm going to stop with this because there's so much to say. There's how this thing scales over time. There's the idea that past, present, and future fits into this. There's about 4 fundamental foundations that makes this thing really work. Let me quickly fold this thing up again. See if I can do that quickly and start with that original cup. There we go. So past, present, and future. Past, present, and future fits in here. How your thing works is little time scales. It's actually on a Planck time scale, but we don't experience that. We perceive life as a second per second situation. So this is the second, which makes up hour, which makes up day, week, month, year, right? So it moves in a linear direction for us. And that's why if we suggest our future, we start with the future, we bring it to the present. And then we start with the present by doing steps and we go for the future. And that's kind of part of the goal setting thing, that you can make a realistic goal for yourself. So I hope that you come on into Reality Method. I hope you come on in to check and see what it does. We've created something interesting there. There's a lot of topics that I talk about, and hopefully you'll find those things interesting. Hopefully you found this interesting, and hopefully I see you inside. This is Johan for Reality Method. As always, enjoy the journey.